good. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard.
We coming for you, nigga.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
You mad. You big man.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Been busy, but we're back though. We're too deep today, but we'll be good, right?
Yeah. We back. We back to normal soon. We good.
Back to normal, right? All right, we got Reek in the building, McFly in the building. What a week to come back.
Yeah.
Man, so the biggest, there's literally a war going on in the world, and the biggest story anyone can talk about is Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Man. So I think so first and foremost, like on such a podcast now, we do not condone violence of any kind. I think there's time and place. Well, the podcast as a whole may not. I think there's times you whoop somebody's ass. Personally, there's times when violence is the answer, but I would say I don't think that was the time. However, and this is the caveat I've been seeing people talk about. If you are married, you'll get this. Wife was pissed, so he responded. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. So the thing is, if you look at the clip, so first and foremost, if you live on a rock and you haven't seen this, Chris Rock made a joke at the Oscars. This is before Will Smith eventually did win. So I think he was pent up emotions, ready for the frustration. Made a joke about her hair, saying, he can't wait for the G.I. Jane sequel. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, he said, essentially. Now, somehow, apparently, Chris Rock lives under a rock because he didn't know that she's struggling with alopecia. Everyone that's, heard the story is really well aware that she struggled with this. It's been something that's bothered her, whatever. He made a joke. Now, when he makes this joke, very important to note, Will laughed. Will was like, oh man,
Right.
you. Jada did not laugh. As a matter of fact, Jada looked pissed. And then the energy changed. Yep. Will walks up, smacks that man across his mouth, and then as he sits down, yells at him very loudly. And if you can guess the unedited audio, you can hear a pin drop when he says this. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And said it twice. Chris was visibly shaken. He was kind of like, yo, man, like, that's kind of wild. That's the greatest night on television. And kind of kept on what he was doing or whatever. And then the media went crazy. Everybody had an opinion. Rappers, actors, comedians. Stephen A. Smith gave a goddamn soliloquy on this shit. Everybody has something to say. I tend to feel like, Will Smith has done so much positive and good things. I'm not going to demonize him over one thing. Although I think it was a poor show. It's poor showing by him. But with that said, Reek, what were your thoughts on seeing this?
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. That's a fact.
So I seen a lot of mixed emotions from a lot of people on this because I saw a lot of people that was in favor of Will, and you got a lot of people that was like that wasn't. You're like, no, I didn't see people like you shouldn't be protecting your wife. Nobody was on that, but you like people disagreeing about the time and place
Time and
to
place,
do
how
it,
to go about it.
how to go right, all those type of things. So to me, I think it's more than just about Jada. In fact, I don't think him smacking Chris was about Jada at all.
Okay, let's hear the theory.
See, so I think Will, for one, I don't think Will is a well man right now. I think Will's going through a lot. He's been through a lot the last couple years. He's been the butt of a lot of jokes. He's been emasculated. He's going through a whirlwind of emotions. And if people actually watch that clip carefully, you could sit there and see like none of the behavior that he did was the behavior of somebody like that's like sane right now. He went from the joke, he was laughing. Obviously, he saw Jada not happy about it, but it wasn't like she didn't seem to me like go do something mad. Like it was more of like that wasn't funny. You know what I mean? And I feel some type of way about it, but it wasn't go up there and do something. Anger. Will sees that. And then also I think you notice like how the crowd goes like, ooh, like that was like a low blow type joke. Because I kind of believe that because they were saying Chris Rock didn't know that she had alopecia. I can believe that because I didn't know she had alopecia. Like I just thought she was doing her hair like that because maybe her and Willow were doing something. Man, she's always had short hair. Like it ain't like she would look bad with short hair.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or hair like that. So that's what I thought. But you look at it, Will goes from laughing to seeing red, going up there, slapping Chris, smiling after he slapped him, back to his seat, turned raging red again. And then in between, like when everything stopped, commercial break, you see the footage of Denzel and Tyler Perry. He's crying. He's wiping away tears. Then he gets his award. He's crying again. And then he's at the after party, partying like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot here. There's a lot. There's a lot of emotions that don't add up. That's a fact.
Right. So to me, it's like, okay, something else is up. And like I'm one of the people that I've read his book. So he's been in a place like this before, like when he first started rapping and he was getting successful and everybody was calling him corny because he didn't curse and he made songs like Parents Just Don't Understand and all that other stuff. And what he started doing to people that was talking about him is what he did to Chris Rock. Like he started punching, even though he was listening to Charlie Mack, his boy, and people know who Charlie Mack is. Like Charlie Mack is like Will's boy from Philly who's been riding with him since forever. But Charlie Mack is like 6'7", and you know what I mean. He's like Will's goon. You know what I mean? And his advice was like, yo, they keep talking about you, start punching people. So that's what he was doing like back in the day. Like he would be out, people would start making fun of him, and he would punch people because Charlie Mack would be behind him. And also, if y'all don't know, y'all can go look at him at the after party dancing and getting jiggy with Charlie Mack is right next to him. The big nigga that's dancing with, that's Charlie Mack. So it ain't like Will ain't never been down this road, but I think it's a little worse now than what it was because Will ain't never been ridiculed on this level.
I think you made a good point, and there's definitely more to this than just the smack. It seems just more to just the joke that Chris Rock made, because that don't come out of nowhere, right? I think number one, we haven't said this, and I think no one said this enough. And I think somebody mentioned this. I think I heard one of the talk shows or the circuit mention this. Shout out to Chris Rock because he could have made this way worse. He could have responded. He held his composure. He kept the show going. The show must go on, as they say, and he definitely did that. Also didn't press charges. He could have. He clearly he has a million witnesses that can be called on,
like
to discuss what happened here. Like this ain't no question of whether this happened. He literally got hit in front of millions of people, and can't nobody say they didn't see that shit. That clip will live on forever. So I think there's certainly something to be said about him not pursuing that, because it doesn't seem as though, while they may have met and talked, and obviously, Black celebrities, I'm sure they know each other pretty well, or know each other somewhat. They don't appear to be best of friends, right? This ain't Martin Lawrence, this ain't Denzel, this ain't Tyler Perry, those guys that would console Will in that moment, right? So I guess I understand they're not quite as close. So he could have pressed charges and say, yo, fuck this, man. I want my pound of flesh. He didn't. So I'll give him that. And again, give him his due for keeping his composure. But it does seem that there's a lot to this that has boiled over. Will's been a meme for 3+ years. Even before the confirmed shit, there was the rumors about his sexuality, the rumors about the open marriage, the rumors about him not being, and then not even so much rumors, but like the talk about him not being like one of those Black guys. He's not a tough guy. He's not this. Pepper from Salt-N-Pepa talks about she could have dated him, and she was like, I thought he was kind of a loser. Like he's like, he not my type. He not a thug. Also, Jada may be the devil. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Jada shit. First off, the kind of the August Alsina thing was like. Then you brought Will on Red Table Talk, but then after that, like there's always been this comparison of, she really should have been with Pac. Like that was really who she loved, and right? And then she fuels it by like, look at this handwritten letter that Pac gave me when we were 17, and he was going through it, and like this ain't what Will need right now. Will don't need you bringing love fucking letters from Tupac. Like, are you serious?
And the crazy thing, like Jada gets a lot of, and Jada definitely ain't perfect, and she definitely has done some things to mess Will up. But the more when I read his book, I'm like, Will knows how to cover up a lot of stuff that he starts. So it's like, because you look at because he's talked about his relationships, his first marriage, and all this other stuff, and it's like, damn, you done did some pretty fucked up things, dude.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But he's Will. So I think, and my thing is, the August Alsina thing was bad.
I don't know if anything that's been done, and I gotta read the book to maybe see more. Yeah. Ain't nothing I've seen as bad as that.
I think, when I look at it, like, I was one of those people that felt before the August Alsina thing even happened that they weren't together.
I mean, and they confirmed that they were kind of on the
separate, right? Because I felt like, because we know how they were when they first got together. We know how they were when they were, you could tell a relationship like when people are really together, and it felt like you felt like you got to the point where you've never seen them together for years. Like you ain't see them together. They weren't out together. They weren't. The appearances started to look that they're a little maybe estranged a little bit. Yeah. Right. So my theory was when the whole August Alsina thing happened, I don't believe that they were together. I think they had their agreement that they could date other people or whatever. But
I believe they had the agreement.
Yeah.
I believe that, but I still think he was not the choice.
No.
That was a bad
and I think that Jada should have known that you're dealing with a new Black who doesn't know how to be a side chick.
You see he had he put out a random post and a bunch of big words and shit typical let me get my 2 more minutes of fame in because I'm not relevant musically anymore.
Right.
He tried using this to get back in music, and everybody was just like, that's cool, but the rest of your shit is still kind of butt, man. So
your music's still trash. We gave it a shot.
Nothing's changed. You had your chance and no one bit. Okay.
Right.
no one bit.
You had the height of all the promo you can have.
All the promo. I had a song with Nicki, all that. Right. And it was faded. Oh, I had to fade. We'll give you a little bit more. Faded. Will smack somebody? Look at me. Nah,
Right.
it done. We're not
Nope.
hearing you right now.
It's like because he's just like, it's like, dude, you acting like a scorned woman. Like it's like you
It's wild. It's wild. I don't understand.
I was like, you hear stories about women doing that, like women actually thinking that the dude is gonna leave his wife for her.
You guys
Yeah,
gonna be
it's like-
gonna be a kept husband at
Right.
Will old house.
At Will, like, come on, man. Like you supposed to know better than that. Like,
You gonna go be step pops to Jaden, who older than you?
right? Yeah,
what,
right.
What are we doing?
Your boy, like it's like
Your boy. That's your boy. Like, yo,
Right.
now that I'm your father. Shut up, August.
You think she's leaving hundreds of $1 million for a poor man's Trey Songz? Like you kidding me?
Poor man's Trey Songz.
Right.
He too removed from being
right.
from being
The homeless man Trey Songz. Like it's like think she's leaving that for you?
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
it's like-
Oh man, shout out August, man. He live in the Twilight Zone, bro. I swear that's just funny. I mean, I do think there's it's on both sides, but clearly it's boiled over, man. Will tired, and Will may smack the shit out you for saying some shit now. He is tired, and again, I can understand. We can't understand being that level of star with that level of scrutiny, right? Because like you look at other people, no one's questioning, being a man's man or somebody like Denzel. No one's questioning him for that shit in a very similar space. Take the young boys. No one's questioning Michael B. Jordan with shit like that. No one's questioning him for that. Will's always been this convenient punching bag within the culture. He Black excellence personified. Was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood forever, for decades, but he's always been this kind of, but you're not that guy. You're not the really cool guy, the really tough guy. Like, and I think that wears on him for a while. Now, I do think again, and can't say this enough, he wrong. He shouldn't have hit that man. As you know, but as a husband, I will understand. Wife is pissed. I overreact to prove a point. I get it. But I think it was over the top. Right. I am happy. I do hope they can squash it. But I tell you right now, I do think, and I'm mad I didn't get tickets. Chris Rock said when he goes on tour with Kevin Hart is gonna be fire. Yep. But also he will have a ton of security because he's not tolerating nobody smacking him in the face again. And shout out to his security for not walking up on Will and being like, nah, bro, we need to take you out right now. We need to have a discussion about you smacking my mans in the face.
Right.
But that show gonna be fire. That when they get on stage, the Hart and Rock show is gonna be a great show.
And that's what I was like, Chris Rock got probably good 15 minutes of material off of that slap.
Easy.
He's like, his tickets, like they said the tickets for his next shows like went through the roof.
I believe it.
After the slap.
I believe it.
Because Chris is being smart. He's probably like, I'm not even going to dress it until I do a show. Like, you're going to have to pay to hear my response.
and that's why I could see it being a publicity stunt, but I don't think it would have went that far. I could see it being like, if he'd have went, if it had been a publicity stunt, and Will went up there and just whispered something in his ear. Right. And then sat down. Then that'd have been like, okay, maybe that's real, and maybe that's a publicity stunt because it's not as demonstrative.
Right.
This is a lot. This is a lot.
I think it'd have been more of a show. Like Will punching him in the face, Chris falling on the ground and getting up and having more jokes. Chris Rock's reaction, and then Will's reaction after is what let me know, like, yo, this was not staged. Chris he couldn't put the words together.
He said his line wrong. He said the next line wrong.
Right. Yeah. Like you could tell he was like genuinely shocked that just happened.
He was genuinely shocked.
And then Will, like, and then on top, like, people, you conspiracy niggas, look, y'all got to start thinking with some type of logic. Because your conspiracies be so off.
Nah,
because nothing.
You already lost them. You already lost them.
Yeah,
it says people logic. You
already
lost them.
You're right. Because like y'all stuff makes zero sense. Like y'all don't think of how, like y'all don't think with any type of logic whatsoever. Like you got Will Packer, the first Black man to direct an Oscars. Why would he stage this to happen on his first shot at directing? That's like a big deal. And you want him to, you think he's going to stage a fight? Like that makes zero sense.
It's first, it's a bad show. And number one, somebody said it was the blackest Oscars of all time. And here's the thing, it was, and then it got ugly because you had Will Packer, you had representation across the board, you had the orchestra was conducted by 2 black conductors, all of those things combined, and you had Will with a good shot at winning one of the most prestigious awards at the Oscars, and ultimately he did win. And you both of them were up for that. Both had director credits within their own, so it was a great night for black success and black excellence. To stain it with that was not the move, even if it was being done as like a joke. Was not the way I would have gone about it, unless it was a obvious friendly. Oh, they're clearly playing around joke. This is actually a bit. I think one of the Wayans brothers did this bit before of being at an award ceremony, making jokes and somebody coming to fight you. This is actually a bit that's been done. So if you wanted to, do an actual, like a staged bit, I kind of get that, but maybe not the time. Number two, and this is something that I've seen people saying, we got to stop equating aggressiveness and straight out ignorant behavior with being black. And this is what we all about. That's why I think there's something that's the people who have been the biggest detractors of Will Smith, especially within our community, are people who are like, this is how he's supposed to act, right? I mean, he went up there, acted a fool, then apologized to the Oscars, which, funny enough, you were boycotting just a few years ago, right? And didn't apologize to Chris Rock, didn't apologize to Will Packer, right? Didn't apologize to even the Williams family. You did it after the fact. But it's like, you don't go up there with this speech about I protect people. You could have shot him a look that showed him I ain't playing with that.
Even if you yelled out your curse and all that other stuff, when he said the joke, keep my wife's name out, like even if you did that, you know what I mean? Like
it to me, he could have did something subtle. Like when Regina Hall was calling up men who were single, and it made a joke about, I talked to Jada and you good, and he was like, nah, I ain't going up. Everybody was laughing, he was just like, nah, not me. Not going up. Jada laughed at that one too, but Will was like, nah, we ain't playing that game, right? He could have been like, when he went to the hair thing, and here's the thing too, it was over. It was boom, done. He didn't roast her. He was one joke, G.I. Jane 2, it was over.
Right. And like
let
Chris
it go,
Rock
Will.
said,
Let it go.
And even Chris Rock was like, he's like, no, that was like a good one. Like I could have went further.
He could have,
but I didn't.
He could have roasted her. Right. He threw one jab. Let it be, my guy. But I think it was pent up frustration. So I mean, I'm. It's interesting to see the responses. I don't think it's going to be anything more than a really good bit at some point from Chris Rock. The last thought I have on this is I don't like people coming after the fact, especially I feel like black folks in general, this should be a rule for us. Other folks are going to criticize just enough. I feel like we should just be like, okay. I don't like it, but I understand we don't need to do like this. What Shannon Sharp did, what Stephen A. Smith did. I don't like that. When we mess up, assuredly, black folk, when we mess up, I guarantee you this, there will be plenty of criticism to go around. We don't have to say shit. There will be plenty of people who will be like, he wrong, he this, he that. I just think as a coach, we have to just be like, okay, we hear you, but we ain't gotta be, we don't have to do it for them. Right. We ain't gotta check each other for them because they will come check us without our own help. So I hate when we see black folks going on, the preacher rant. If it had been me and I'd have did, man, shut up. You wouldn't have did nothing. You'd have been shot like Chris Rock was. Stop it.
That's one thing I hated about a lot of response. All these dudes talking about what they would have did. Like
you wouldn't have did nothing.
Stop it.
I like Fat Joe response because even Fat Joe was like, and again, give Fat Joe his flowers. Fat Joe really about this life. We have seen Fat Joe is real. Fat Joe was one of the realest dudes in hip hop. I didn't even know it until a couple years. He real. Even he was like, nah, I'd have been like, show must go on. If one of the most hood dudes I know is saying that, rest of y'all chill out.
Right.
Please chill out. You would have been like, really, Will?
Right. Because people like Fat Joe, smart people that have actually reached that type of level understand what's at stake, the moment that's at stake.
Right.
And how this can go. If like Chris Rock understood to be professional, even though he probably didn't want to be. But it's like
assignment. He did.
Right. This can go way left if it's already left, but this can go off the map if I go and react.
This can go, we not getting invited back ever. This can go, we banned from the Oscars.
Right.
This can go, we ain't letting black folks run this ever again. This is what y'all do, because you know how they gonna do. Oh, y'all act like this when this happens, it means y'all can't get this opportunity anymore. They know how it is. That's why I think Will thought about it and realized I messed up.
Yep.
And a good thing he got his Oscar, because I think they talking about he may not be invited back next year. I think that's gonna be potentially the punishment. He ain't invited back next year. So we'll see what happens.